Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Global Grandmasters presented by ProDotA EU. We're representing Moonduck Studio as we're casting No Diggity versus Polarity, and this is game 2 of a best of 2 set. I am Lunas, joined by Android, as we are gonna pick up this game, and we saw No Diggity really struggling in the early game, but climbing back off of some pretty sick initiation plays, and most of all some kind of good really sticking it out during the mid game, because they were really far behind in my opinion, and then they made some big comebacks. Annie, what'd you think of the game?
I thought it was a lot of fun. You rarely get to see a Terrorblade have that much freedom. I mean, it was just a pleasure to watch as he just scaled up and became that raid boss, and now No Diggity. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. They're going straight for the Void. They're going to be giving it back to Keizu. Hopefully the Chronos are going to be a little bit more on point, as a couple of them were quite whiffed, and now Polarity start things off with the Vengeful Spirit. Very, very nice early pick. You've got that reliable stun, you've got that swap that will break magic immune TPs, so you can make sure not letting your prey get away there. And you know, it's looking really far into the future, but every time I've seen a Venge picked up first, it has been a Drow strat.
Yeah, maybe Drow, though, probably not the best hero against Faceless Void, where, I mean, Drow doesn't do well against heroes that just lock you down from afar, or that gets kind of up your grill, and that's exactly what Faceless Void does. The last draft we saw from Diggity was kind of like, hey, Chronosphere, lock you down, and then let's throw AoE spells on top of that. I think Vengeful Spirit would be a very good counter to that. As soon as you see somebody, you know, being targeted, you swap them out, and Venge is going to be the sacrificial bait, and they even take away the Invoker from that particular combo. So I think No Diggity needs to show us something completely different here.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, they could opt to do that here. We're going to see the Invoker picked up once again, a ranged hero. I'm going to stick with my Drow strat call.
Mirana.
Oh, going with the Mirana here, so
Radiant team.
are they going to combo here? We're going to see super old-fashioned Bane Mirana rotating around. They've got the Chrono. They need some raw damage. I'm assuming we're going to see Mirana mid. Could be an offlaner, could be a rowing position 4, but she does excel in the mid, especially up against a very greedy hero like Invoker. You can always make sure you go through, keep up in terms of farm. Do you think we're going to see her mid, or what? Oh, Drow banned out.
It seems like Polarity is expecting the mid Koifa Tinker. It's definitely one of his better heroes. So with that in mind, we might see Diggity actually play on a support position. Could be a core too, like carry. When I say core, I mean like a safe lane carry era, playing the Mirana as well.
It could be. I'm not quite sure that fits his playstyle of, you know, build in, run deep into the fights. You usually see him on more of a melee hero that just likes to get down and dirty, but, you know, Mirana could be a welcome change for that. We are going to see Polarity have their Drow taken out of the pool, so I guess their No Diggity was thinking the same as me. And now, who do they pick up for a core here that comes well with the Venge? You gotta have someone that relies on getting kills spoon-fed to you. I'm thinking something like a Slark.
I think Slark is definitely a strong choice, although a lot of its survivability is somewhat nullified by Chrono. It doesn't matter if you are Shadow Blade, it doesn't matter if you're Shadow Danced, Chronosphere will still shut you down. And same thing with the Mirana arrow. If it hits you through that, then you're in a little bit of trouble. So maybe not Slark in particular, but a very similar type of hero. Like Silent likes to play the Slark type-esque hero that kind of run in and out of the fight, is able to do a lot from his positioning. I do believe he played Spectre today as well. second game against Team Spirit, is that correct? Yeah, against Hovos' anti-mage. She was playing Spectre in that game, and he didn't do too well in that game, but it could fit with what Polarity's got for them. Invoker and Spectre is a very, very strong duo that does amazingly well in the late game, but they don't sacrifice too much of the mid-game power. They can still kind of run your ganks and, get that push, get that Roshan kind of engagement. It's a fairly well-balanced lineup that is pretty weak in the laning stage, but could pick up. We'll see if they're going to go for that, though.
Alright, on to pick number 3. The Lycan banned out against Polarity, so it looks like no Diggity really feeling that the raw damage is going to be quite a problem. And no Diggity, that could be a sign that they're going to go for more of a squishy lineup that relies on getting those initiations in their favor. I mean, Mirana, not one of the heroes that wants to get initiated on.
Well, if she gets get initiated on, she could probably jump away, so I think she's okay in that regard. I'm still somewhat confused in terms of what Synderen's thinking. Is this support Mirana? Is this carry Mirana? Mid Mirana? We don't really know. And what type of carry Mirana? I mean, we've been seeing the Aghanims carry, but I think a lot of teams are just forgetting the fact that she could old school carry, like the way she's done a long time in the past, where you go like just face boots,
Deso.
Some sort of Deso or SMY, and then you get Butterfly or Mjolnir, like. She could be a right clicker as well. Teams are just very infatuated with the Aghanim carry, and you could do that too. I think that's the strength of the hero. That is, you could do both.
Yeah, Mirana's so flexible. I mean, if she's having a really tough time mid, you rotate her out, you bring in someone else. If she's having a tough time safe lane, you rotate her to the mid. It's a lot of flexibility in there. We're going to see a Jakiro picked up for Polarity. I love this control. The combination of Jakiro and Venge. You've got lockdown for days. That stun lock is going to be absurd.
I was thinking that maybe they should pick up yet another defensive hero, because between Void and Mirana, you're looking at a lot of kind of great lockdown potential with a single target or in an AoE. That having another defensive hero might serve them a little bit better, especially when you're trying to protect very high value targets like Invoker. But Jakiro, obviously, like you said, gives you a lot more offensive merits and team fights as well. So. Polarity definitely looking to be on the offensive. This team, I think they played their best game when they're the one that's offensively making the dives, making the plays. So, Disruptor is going to be the pickup here. Alright,
again, a lot of utility, but a lot of squish. I mean, no Diggity have very little survivability, spare the Void's Time Walk, and can Polarity just go in and beat the aggressors here? Night Stalker has been banned out, but there are still other ganking heroes. We've got our support Ricky at the ready, but it looks like Polarity, they're all stocked up in terms of supports. Unless we're going to see position 1 Venge, which you can't really put it back. We're going to see another Terrorblade, but this time in the hands of Polarity. I think they're going to say, whatever you can do, we can do better, but I don't quite know about that.
So last game we saw Terrorblade having to deal against 3 silences, but I think this game the things that he has to deal with is much more difficult. It's one thing to be silenced, because you could still pop your BKB, you could still use right clicks and whatever, or Manta style, but if you get chronoed, you're pretty much boned. Disruptor, Static Storm will shut down the Terrorblade until he gets a BKB, or at least forces a BKB purchase early on for Terrorblade, and neither of that is what Terrorblade really wants. Sure, you have to bench to back him up, but again, there's only one swap for 2 big AoE spells. There's a time and place for Terrorblade, and I'm not sure whether this is that particular time and place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still stuck here. I'm thinking what Synderen wants to do the Mirana. I'm thinking it's not going to be a mid. I think they have to go with something a little bit more survivable, because if Invoker brings in a hero like the Venge or the Jakiro and they get a couple kills, Mirana gets shut down. She has some decent comeback mechanic, but she's so item reliant that she just can't scale up in terms of something raw, so I'm thinking she's going to be a position 4.
The problem with the position 4 Mirana is generally you want your Mirana to be roaming with another hero that could set up your arrow so they could kind of disappear off the map and be a threat. Disruptor Mirana is not exactly the combo here, so I'm thinking that will put them in a core, put the Mirana in a core position. With that said, though, they could pick up something that that is a core, or that is a core with a setup. So maybe think Sven here could start things off with the Storm Hammer, and then you follow up with an arrow. I think it's still very open in terms of what they could do, but we'll see.
Absolutely. I think this could. I mean, Queen of Pain. When you see her picked up, you think mid lane, but it's possible it could be a safe lane QoP. I'm like 90% sure Void's going to go in the off lane with Keizu because it's one of his big comfort heroes. I don't think they're going to try to rotate him for the one. I think it just makes a lot of sense to give him what he's good at. But QoP very flexible, and we're going to have to come down to the last pickup. If they pick up a big strengthy core like a Sven, then it's going to be mid QoP roaming Mirana. If they pick up something super flimsy, then safe lane QoP roaming Mirana. Like, it's just very curious here.
I'm pretty sure Koifa is going to be playing the QoP. I think it's definitely one of his best hero. I had the joy to sit behind him in, I think, one of the practice rooms somewhere to watch him play QoP in a pub game, and just watching him play, like, you know that he understands, like, the exact blink range of the hero, or the exact harassing range of his dagger, and what he could do kind of tempo-wise, utilizing all of the cooldown. Koifa is probably one of the best QoP players in the world, and to see him not play QoP when his team has QoP might be a travesty. So I'm expecting right now the Mirana to be an arrow carry Mirana QoP on the mid lane, and they're looking to pick up YapzOr's last hero. But of course I could be totally wrong. Mirana again is so versatile that you could still slot him in the 4 position like you suggested earlier.
Reserve time.
Yeah, we're gonna come on into it. They ban out the Ember Spirit last, so it looks like Polarity are reading this as a support Mirana, and she has a little bit of flexibility, level 1 or 2. If they want to transition her to a semi-carry and throw someone else in support, they can. But Cinderin, master of the draft, he is keeping the cards close to his chest here.
Yeah. Cinderin's like one of the carry Void.
Or Jungle Tidehunter, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but wow, they could be switching up long and short lanes, I guess, because I'm very surprised to see Keizu not given the Void. He could be playing at position 1, but man, this is quirky, no diggity. They're going all in for this. They took game 1 after a long struggle. Looks like they're trying something new for game 2, Polarity. And they're going to go for this push strat. I mean, they've got the Jakiro. Wouldn't be surprised to see him max out that Liquid Fire. And they're bringing in a Chen. That is ultra push strat, petting Zoo to the rescue. We'll see how quickly Polarity can hit their power spike, because no diggity. They're going to be putting up a decent mid-game fight.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of these same heroes, but they're going to be playing very, very different roles. For example, the Terrorblade last game was geared more towards of a late game Terrorblade. You max out 6 slots and you just go for the late game fights.
Playing up the Void, position 1, Keizu on the Tidehunter.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
That's why I said carry Void. And Tidehunter is going to be played on the off lane. But yeah, Terrorblade, he's going to be played as more of a pushing core in this lineup, backing up by the Jakiro as well as a Chen. Iceberg obviously is going to be doing the Force Spirit stuff and pushing with Alacrity. So we're expecting Polarity to come hard at 20 minutes into the game and start pushing. And if you look at what No Diggity's got for counter push, they got nothing. So that's going to be a very, very tough stage of the game where they have to survive. Also very different from how Faceless Void was played last game. Last game he was more played in as like initiator, right? Like, I want to jump in and chrono the whole team. I think this game, Era's going to be using his chronosphere a lot more for like solo kill potentials. Jump in, get 1 pick off, and just go for the next. Yeah, I'm very concerned for Diggity's draft. How will they deal with the push that's going to be coming their way?
I'd usually say rush Mirana Ags and get that big old star call going, but they aren't going to be doing that here. She's going to be playing that softer role. And like you mentioned, when you pick up a Mirana, you usually want someone like a Bane or a Shadow Demon to help her set up arrows. Even a Rubik would be great, but she's going to fend for herself, and that's going to mean YapzOr has to just get this all down to skill. There's no training wheels on the Mirana. We'll see how effective it can be.
Yeah, YapzOr has always made random roaming heroes really work. When the Night Stalker was a 4-position support, I think he's probably one of the best heroes, or best players in Europe playing that position. So he's definitely, this is not his first time playing a roamer. And well, let's see if he's going to be able to roam Mirana properly. Because to me, this is one of the most hit or miss hero. Like literally, you got to hit your arrows or you miss. And by doing so, you're either the best hero on the map or the most useless hero on the map. Granted, you could arrow the neutral camps to get a little bit of experience here and there, but you know, you don't pick the hero for that.
Down bottom, we've got a little bit of damage sprayed out, just kind of a zoning fest as the Radiant will end up losing this. There's going to be 2 runes going the way of no Diggity, so it's not as huge of a deal as it used to be a couple patches back, but at least getting Void starting out with a decent chunk of farm, and towards the mid, Queen of Pain enjoying that extra sum of gold.
That is correct. I do want to say that Iceberg's got the much better block, and in this kind of high-level Dota, having the hill advantage for Iceberg, especially working with a little bit of base attack advantage right now, is going to give him the lead.
Yeah, Quakebot still holding on to that first point, does end up going for the Shadow Strike, so getting the harass onto Iceberg, but Iceberg, he's got those 2 tangos, he's going to be buying up a healing salve, so anticipating taking the damage and not too frightened. Meanwhile, down bottom, Casey is still holding on his skill point as well, most likely going to need that Kraken Shell, could go for the Anchor Smash, but he might just need that extra bit of survivability, is always want to fly, being a bully there with the right clicks on the Venge, forcing him back, he does go for the Kraken Shell after all.
Yeah, Silent expending his metamorphosis just to get a little bit lane control for about like 30 to 40 seconds, and I made them gone. This nice show image.
Made them gnome, apparently. Well, now we are going to see Iceberg taking a lot of damage. This could be the first blood as Quakebot going through. He eats up a Fairy Fire. They need one more hit. He's going to live on the back line. So you have the Sunstorm coming out. Quakebot is in trouble. One more hit. Can they get it? The Hellbear Smasher looking for something. The first blood goes the way of Lil on the Chen. And now we've got the Mount Heroes running after each other. The Hellbear gets a big old clap. Yapzor in some trouble. Do they have anything here? One more hit. It's a double kill for Lil on the Chen at 1:30 in. That's how you win a game. That's how you get a good start on the Chen.
I'm pretty sure Yapzor could have just ran away, and that HP bar kind of tricked him. It's like, oh, that Furbog was like 1 hit away from, let me just kill the Furbog, and then it's like, okay, 1 more hit, and then he realized, oh, the Chen Dominated Creep literally has like over 1,000 HP. It was a lie, and
that was awesome there. Cute little Hellbear putting in some hours, and that's going to mean Iceberg has an easier time here. He didn't get the kill for that, he only got 1 assist, but now Quakebot already being sent back to the grave. Iceberg starting things off with a little bit of free farm to his name.
The prize is mine.
Rotation in from Yapzor, maybe looking for an arrow or something. Meanwhile, up top we do have Jakiro in a whole world of hurt. This off-lane Jakiro gonna be glimpsed back. There's not much he can do about this. He will be smacked out. He's flapping for all his might. He's got the boost. He's got the movement speed. Can he get away from this? He's got the dual breath. If he wants to stop, he will go through. He will salve up. And that's gonna be Jakiro living through what should have been a for sure kill. Man, DK Phobos having some fun. Off-lane Jakiro might just be my new favorite thing.
yeah, offlane Jakiro was popular, I think 1 or 2 years ago. We saw Ice playing it quite a bit, and what you do transition off of it was like getting things like Blink and Yule Scepter, and you set things up with Ice Path, and of course you not only are you strong in the mid game, you apply a ton of pressure in the laning stage as well. You can see that era already running out of regen pretty fast. Does have the 1 salve left, but apart from that, we're gonna see the Liquid Fire continue to rain down here.
Absolutely. I mean, can Jakiro keep the scale though? They're giving him the offlane, they're giving him this priority farm, priority levels. Is he going to make the most out of it? Meanwhile, hold that thought, down bottom, Keizu actually getting completely zoned back, and Boku getting a kill on the Queen of Pain mid, so things are looking really good for Polarity.
Yeah, I really didn't expect Koifa to be dying so many times on the Queen of Pain. The hero that I said that he's very comfortable with, and he is, but for the early game's not looking good. You were talking about how you're not sure whether Jakiro can scale, and I definitely think he can. Well, granted, I don't think Polarity wants this game to drag out for a long time, because I think the plan A is actually to push, right? So Jakiro gives you that early to mid-game push, and he will give you a fairly decent pushing item if you want it. I think he's going to be built more as an initiator, though, with the Blink or Yule Scepter build.
Oh, up here near the rune, there could be some trouble as Yapzor getting stuck. Doesn't have enough mana for the lead, but they're going to bring in the Chen. The Chen only has that cute little mana burn creep. Not going to be able to go through. No more lockdown, no more Centaurs or Hellbears, and Quake was hasted up. And Keizu sitting back.
Able to really do too much with that haste rune, so I don't know. If you have to rate this Mirana roam, I think it's like a 3 out of 10 right now. Maybe 2 out of 10. They really ain't doing anything.
I mean, it's also only 4 minutes in the game, hasn't really hit that stride yet, only level 2, so you can't expect a whole lot. Obviously the arrows aren't completely clutch just yet, but we'll see what happens as the levels continue to go, and as there is going to be damage to follow up on the arrows.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that perhaps Yapzor is not playing the best, but it's also more about, like, there's really not good places for him to gank. I think everywhere he goes, the Chen is there and a step ahead or just right on his heels. And also these double Satyr Mind Stealers are just annoying the Mirana so much. Like Mirana's already a very mana dependent hero. Like he just gets mana burned every time he gets near the Chen. The TIE Hunter's also getting mana burned. Look at Yapzor right now. He's again out of mana. He's out of clarity as well, so he might as well just Suitize to neutral and then just go back the faster way. Because he's not really doing much here.
Yeah, I mean,
with that said though, he's very close to Arcane boots. If he does get Arcane, then he's kind of right back in it.
and now mid lane, Koikva, he's getting a decent chunk of farm. The Queen of Pain has 15 last hits, but Invoker 24, so almost 10 up. Oh, there is going to be a sandwich coming around. As always want to fly, tried to be sneaky, but will end up meeting his demise. Tosses out that magic missile, but Yapzor going to be able to live right on through that. Now always want to fly, getting glimpsed back. He's going to get to take that negative damage. It's not looking good, man. That is going to be the first kill here, as Queen of Pain does pick up some much needed farm, and now, you know, it's only a vent that you're dropping, but there was no reason the vent needed to be that aggressive in the first place. Are Polarity just playing way too cocky from minute 6?
No, I don't think so. I mean, this game plan that Polarity is having right now is very similar to game 1. Remember how the Invoker got chased around non-stop, and Koifa lost a lot of farm because of that? They're doing the same thing here. Unfortunately, this time around, they got picked off, they got sandwiched. That's kind of an unfortunate mishap. I think Polarity is essentially sending the same message. It's like, Koifa, you're not going to have a good game. Sure, you may be able to recover in the mid game, but we're going to make sure that for the first 15 minutes, it's a living hell. And if you look at the farm differential on the mid lane, Invoker's got 20 and 13, and Quaba's got 17 and 5. Another huge lead here for Iceberg. And it's very important to shut down Queen of Pain this game. I mean, one of the best way to kill Terrorblade is to just burst him down before he even has a chance to use his ultimate. And Queen of Pain is a big part in that equation, so... 2 games in a row, the Polarity game plans to shut down Koifa, and I gotta say, I really like that game plan, and they're being fairly successful with it.
Yeah, we'll see how
from that one bench death. That's, yeah.
We'll see how it works going forward, as Tide Hunter will pick up his level 5, which is pretty decently timed considering the start he had where he was forced out of the lane completely twice. So once he picks up that Ravage, do you think he starts rotating with the Void to set up those Ravage Chrono combinations? I mean, you've got Koikfa already level 6 with that ulti, so I mean, no Diggity, they're so dependent on these Flux and Flow ultimates. Do they start fighting right at 6, or do they wait for first big items?
I think you start ganking at 6. And I think the lane you want to start ganking is the Terrorblade lane. Quap perhaps TP's in there. Use Ravage to start things up, and then as soon as the Terrorblade drops around half HP, you let loose a Sonic Wave, and you just go for the clean kill. That's probably going to be the game plan for Diggity, but obviously you can make that gank up top or in the mid lane if you see fit. Bobos as well, Cinder entangled up here, and they could actually get him back here with a glimpse. Nothing just yet. There's a glimpse. Chronosphere can be dropped here, but nothing just yet. Here comes Koifa blinking in, does have the Sonic Wave available. Probably need to use it to make sure they get the kill, and they do drop it out. I mean, they do get the kill, and that's kind of the game plan for the Queen of Pain rotation, but is Jakir the hero that you really want? Is a question that he needs to be asking himself.
I think it was fine there. They held on to the Chrono, so they've still got that very long cooldown at the ready. And Era, he's doing alright in terms of his Void farm. He's going to be 3rd on the last hit chart. Terrorblade is the big winner down bottom, as Tide Hunter not able to exert a lot of pressure. And Terrorblade already picking up the Band of Elfskin. I expect to see a Dragon Lance out sometime.
Mm-hmm. I think in this early game stage, I think the cooldown for the Chronosphere is actually not as important compared to the Sonic Wave. Sonic Wave is really the way that they get the kills. It doesn't matter if you hit a Ravage on heroes, or it doesn't matter if you Chrono 2, if you don't have any damage to back it up. And Queen of Pain is the only damage they have to back it up. Because if you look over to your Disruptor and your Mirana, like, what are they going to provide you? Pretty much nothing, so... Koifa's gotta be the most important player for the team right now. Unfortunately for Diggity, he's also the most shutdown player on the team.
Yeah, I mean, there's decent comeback mechanics. It's not like you're out once and you'll never come back from this, but we'll hope he gets a little bit more going forward. Yeah.
He's also getting the level 8, which is critical. That's generally when you get your max Scream of Pain and you got your Sonic Wave, and he's also only cooldown for maybe 50 more seconds. Yapzor still continue to roam around, and that's the sort of the benefit as a support Mirana. Slowly you get to transition into a semi-core if you get enough farm, and we'll see whether Yapzor will be able to do so down the line here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very passive game here. Only 5 kills at 10 minutes in, so Nothing too crazy here. Not your usual EU Dota that's just like throw your bodies at the fire. There's going to be a rotation here. Cinderin maybe looking for a glimpse. It is going to be level 2, but their Ice Path will zone him out. He's not going to want to push up too much farther. And, well, Disruptor only level 4, so that Static Storm is still a distant dream. And Shen's creep just gets iced from the back lines. Yapsor gets that little bit of gold, and Mirana's staying ahead here. Already has the Arcane Boots, 500 more gold to work with. So in terms of supports, I mean, not feeling too poor, sitting oodles ahead of the Disruptor and the Venge in terms of net worth.
When you get to like arrow for creeps, you know, especially Chen's creeps when they're walking around, that's a pretty good way to get some easy farm. Bottom lane looks like they were thinking about a TIE Hunter kill, but you know he's getting increasingly more difficult to kill as the game goes on. Arrow ports on the mid lane here. They want to expend this Chronosphere for a kill on Iceberg. Not sure whether they can do so. You know the other nice benefit that bottom lane looks like they're gonna make a goal here on the TIE Hunter. Gonna get picked off here. Magic Missile into reflections and right clicks.
And now Yapsor going through. He's taken one hit from the Metamorphosis solution to the backline. There is going to be a Chrono connects with the 2 Silent and some trouble. He's going to be big. He's going to be tanky. There's not a whole lot of follow-up damage. It's going to be the Static Storm, no Silent. He's stuck. He's going to be ultied up by Quakefa. Going on through. Always want to fly. Will drop as well. Cast out the missile, but not enough to save her life. So they drop the tie, but they trade for 2. And that's going to be huge here for no Diggity. They're getting themselves right on through into the game. That's going to be a 1,200 gold swing in favor of the Dire.
Yeah, that looked way more like what they needed to. Koifa just jumping the bot lane and just going for the Sonic Wave kill whenever possible. Koifa runs away from the Centaur, or the Chen creep, and Invoker's also looking pretty big. Does have to finish Midas and the drums on top of that, looking towards to that future travel. I hear a Sunstrike going up somewhere. Was it the top?
Yapsor, no, it was in the mid, leaped right on the edge of it, like brushed against the tail of that kitty cat. So Yapsor almost gets picked off. And now I just want to draw the attention here to the live bet that we have going on right above the status bar over the HPs of the heroes. That's going to update throughout the game with the odds currently. So you can bet during the game at FanoBet. Make sure you hop on over to see what's going on. So if one team's starting to take a swing and you think they can bring it back around, might be your time to throw your hat in the pool.
So right now, according to FanoBet's, Diggity is ahead.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Or actually, it's
okay, it's gonna be in trouble. There's gonna be a Sunstrike comboed up with the Bench missile, holding him in place, and that's gonna be Iceberg picking himself up his 2nd kill of the game. Invoker really, really enjoying having that Bench to hold everyone down. And now Bobo's going through. All that work in the top lane will pay off as he secures his 1st tower. And looks like Jakiro picking up the Helm of the Iron Will. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be a Helm for the Jakiro, amplifying all the magic damage Polarity can spray out.
Yeah, the Veil of Discord. Not just the 1st tower, they're gonna continue to push the 2nd tower as well. So, just a quick question about the stats. The lower the number means more people are betting on it, right?
Yeah, so if the odds are 1 to like 50, then the team that's 1 is almost assuredly gonna win. It's not a big payout.
According to the bets right now, Polarity is looking to be the more favored team, and look at the game right now, it does seem like though.
Oh, Koifa might have met his match here. Gonna be stunned up. Will be able to blink out. I mean, he's slow. His feet are chained together, but he's got that ulti in 10 seconds. May just want to sit here and wait it out.
Interesting to see the Veil here from Jakiro. Is definitely excellent for damage output, but who's really locking people down for that macro fire? Or maybe, I mean, I guess, but not for long, right? Vengeful Spirit probably is, I mean, the Magic Missile is being maxed up, but I'm not sure exactly whether that's enough. Although with that said, just dropping the Veil and just dropping a single Dual Breath and a Liquid Fire, that's already a sizable amount of damage.
Yeah, and there's going to be a group up. You've got a nice smoke here. Keizu looks like he is going to be going in, trying to get that Ravage off, but Polarity, they're playing this smart. They're not giving up this advantage, which is super smart. They go in, they get something for themselves, and they're not just going to drop it off right away. So I like this restraint exercise by them. They don't just want to group up and continue to shove out mid lane. They're backing off, they're getting their farm, they're making sure Terrorblade's getting the items he needs to excel.
Oh, they do scan. They know that Invoker is right there, but do they actually have the catch? Blink arrow? No, not gonna hit. And did you actually get the vision from the glimpse? And well, that will be enough. Arrow will jump in and try to secure the kill for himself. Cinderin picks it up with the ultimate. All right, they get the pick off here, but back in the mid lane, looks like it's gonna be Polarity trying to get off the push.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be reasonably successful again. Jakiro has that max Liquid Fire, only 1 point in the Ice Path, so you were saying, where's the lockdown coming from? Jakiro's got to either go through, build up a Yules pretty soon, max out that Ice Path, just get a little bit more sustain in these team fights.
Yeah, I think this is generally the build that most pro players go for. They the pushing build, because generally Jakiro's pick for it as a pusher, right? You don't pick him essentially for anything else. And right now he is gonna give you that push. Metamorphosis already used on the bottom, so they're looking to
Dire's bottom tower
jam it
is
in,
under
and this tier 2 shouldn't live for too long. Glyph is gonna get forced out here, and keep in mind that TIE Hunter does have that the Ravage available. The mech is coming soon, but maybe not soon enough, as this tier 2 tower is gonna get meltdown right now.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is burning there. It took like 3 shots of liquid fire, a couple hits Metamorphosis, and it is just creamed out. And now Diggity, they're sitting here, only 2 tier 2 towers left. And can they even hold high ground? I mean, the Queen of Pains are right at it, but everyone else is super cooldown dependent. You can't really sit there and just hold everyone back with a Void with no chrono.
I'm gonna say no if Polarity doesn't make any big mistakes. Those big mistakes being, you know, eating a 4-man Ravage, 5-man Chronosphere, that kind of stuff. As long as they spread out and just use illusions or like Liquid Fire, they should be fine. Arrow's gonna come in, not gonna hit anything. Here comes Kaizu.
Gonna be going into the Ravage, no Satellite, this is gonna be stuck up, he does have that Thunder, it's gonna go through, there's gonna be a swap back into the Chrono. Listen, always wanna fly, gave his life to help out his Terrorblade, will end up going down here on the back line, so it's gonna be a Macro Pyre just zoning everyone out. So Jakiro still feeling healthy, they still got the full Chen army going back in, and Terrorblade, he's feeling a-okay. Looks like Terrorblade Illusion's gonna be whacking out, and I don't think they wanna continue the fight here. Diggity, they go in, they scout out the Roche, figuring out if it's safe to continue the siege. Vengeful Spirit's not there, that's a big positioning tool, but on the back line, Silent wants to go back in, they get the net here onto Era, able to leap away just a little bit, he takes a Veil. Amplifying the magic damage, but there's not much damage to be had. Now Cinderin goes through, gets the kinetic field, gets the static storm, wants to TP out. Silent has to sit there. He's silenced up. There is going to be the Void going back on in. Again, he does have no chrono. Just going to be leaping back on out, and Silent uses the Thunder to get himself a little bit more health. There is going to be a nice zoning Icefall. Leap up from Marana, trying to stall this out. As it looks like Polarity, they're still stuck in the back lines. They can't quite catch up, but Keizu gets cold snapped up. It's going to take a Meteor, and he doesn't have a Ravage. We will end up getting burned down. One more right click will do it as Iceberg. Now 3-1-1, and DK Phobos, he's still got full health, full mana. He's ready to fight. Koifa comes back on in. She does have the ult. The Queen of Pain, they do have to get her down before she's able to go back in. She will blink away defensively, and now leap out from the Void. Nice kinetic field, zoning back the entire Chen army. The arrow comes back through, just taking out a creep, and it looks like Polarity, they're given their opportunity to back off scot-free.
I mean, I actually think that Polarity, despite losing the hero outright, they've lost it to Chrono and Ravage. That means Polarity actually could do whatever they want in the next 100 seconds or so.
And it was a Venge. I mean, you lose the Venge, and it was intended to go on the Terrorblade, and Terrorblade completely lived through that completely fine.
It's like pretty whatever if you lose a Venge. In fact, I was somewhat surprised that you gone for the Roshan instead of the high ground push, because honestly, what's defending them? Well, actually swap back in. Cinder is going to be dead as well. And they finish my daughter. What's actually defending the base if there is no this big AoE spell? It looks like they're going to get always want to fly again, but I mean, these are kind of random trades, and I think Polarity is fine with the trade as long as the Aegis one would ending up with the Aegis jumping in his era. He's kind of trying for the Aegis steal. He won't get it. Sonic Wave's going to be absolutely huge coming in. They're going to focus on Little as well. Chronosphere on 4. That's pretty much a game-losing fight if that's going to be the case here. Phobos is going to be dropping all spells before he dies. And that is going to be a 4-man wipe after what? Was that a 4-man chrono or 5-man chrono? Whatever it was, that was pretty good. I don't think they expected Arrow's ultimate to be back on cooldown this quickly.
Man, I mean, they did get the Aegis on the Invoker, they did get the Roshan, but you certainly can't afford kills like that. That is almost a 2,500 gold change in favor of Diggity, and that's going to be a pretty sharp spike down towards the 3,000 mark in favor of Polarity.
Yeah, I mean, Invoker, technically your most important hero, and he did survive with the Aegis. Looks like they're going to fight again. Ravage is available soon. Right now, he could pop it onto 2 supports if he wants it. Keizu's still zoning people out. Meanwhile, on the back line here, Polarity coming in. Ravage still can be used, and here comes a chase here. I'll always want to fly. Oh, really nothing on beyond the swap that has already been used, so...
Moonlight Shadow coming out defensively. They're walking back out. They don't want to give up anything here. I mean, I think the restraint from both teams is go in, get your picks, get your objectives, and back off. And, you know, it's kind of been a flip-flop of that, as this has been a very back-and-forth game. Polarity still holding on to the lead, but not by as much. There is going to be an arrow going through, just taking out a creep. Now, the Alacrity onto Terrorblade. He is just destroying this thing. The Liquid Fire as well. They don't even pop the Metamorphosis that is on cooldown. Now, do they try to slow siege high ground, as there is going to be no Scream of Pain, there's no Chrono. There is a Ravage, but without the follow-up damage, what's there to be worried about?
Yeah, I don't think this is a slow siege. It's gonna be a fast one as they're gonna be somewhat tentative. They don't want to clump on the high ground. They do a little bit of nice burn damage on that tier 3, and it seems like they'll back off for now. There are some very close to finished key items. I think they're gonna wait for that. If you look over to Terrorblade, he's like 200 away from that ultimate orb to finish the Manta style. That would be definitely helpful. The Yule Scepter coming online here for DK Phobos, and Lil's very close to his next item, whatever that will be. He's already got 1k in the bank, so I think Polarity happy to take that tier 2, happy to get that extra tier 3 damage, and looking to finish some key items before the next fight. Granted, the next fight they will have to go up against the Sonic Wave, Chrono, and the Ravage combo again, so maybe they could have pushed a little bit more, but it was definitely a risky play to go up in the high ground here.
Absolutely. So now, I mean, we're 20 minutes in. Laning phase is long gone. We are into the mid game. Invoker's having a nice power spike. He's going to be top of the net worth chart along with the Terrorblade. Void and Quap, I mean, they're scraping behind. What's their comeback mechanic? Because it seems like Void, all he wants to do is farm. He went in for that immediate Vanguard. He's picked up the Mithril Hammer now, so you know, not super typical Void items. It's a build, it's not the build. And Quap, she's going for that Orchid. That's going to be some nice lockdown, but it seems like they take one step forward and 2 steps back. How did Diggity get their heroes to be top of that net worth chart?
I don't think they'll... Well, if they win one big fight, they'll be on the top of the net worth, but I think the better way to look at this game is Diggity's heroes use gold better than Polarity's hero. I mean, Polarity right now, they're having the nice advantage because they're pushing down more towers, but, you know, 3,000 gold on the Diggity lineup to me is worth a little bit more than 3,000 gold on the Polarity lineup, if that even makes sense, if that example makes sense. As this game drags on more and more, I think the Diggity heroes scale better. Now you're looking over, you know, on the Radiant side, there is still a Terrorblade that you have to worry about, but as we saw the tail end of that last game, Era on the Terrorblade was, you know, you could still deal with them, right? Like, sure, he was. It
took like extremely... 4 full heroes, their full attention to deal with Arrow on the Terrorblade.
That's true, but Arrow was still was also like massively ahead when it came to the net worth, right? I don't think Terrorblade in this game is as ahead as Arrow was last game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I think he still can put out a decent chunk of push, and, you know, with the Invoker there as well. Oh, Silent, he's going to live up to his name here, getting Silent up. He's going to have the Hand of God, but there's going to be him just escaping as Shakira comes back on through, putting out the Macropire, putting out the Ice Path, holding everyone in. There's going to be a TP out from Quake, but they're not going to be able to break it in time. So, I mean, that was a costly engage for Diggity, but they didn't lose anything in return.
Yeah. In fact, I don't think it was that costly, right? They used their ultimate, which put it on cooldown, which is pretty big, but they also got the creep wave pretty pushed in, so Polarity's gonna have to deal with that, and by the time they deal with that and the next fight's happening, I do believe those cooldowns are gonna come back. I think also the big key difference between this game and last game is that last game, dealing with the Terrorblade, there wasn't any big burst damage. Like, you had, what, a Lifestealer and a DP, and these are great heroes for doing damage over time, but you don't have a big burst instantaneously. Mid lane looks like we're gonna see a little fight against Iceberg. Iceberg, very fast with the Aegis. I'm not sure if you want to blow everything on him. They will actually get the quick kill. Oh, they have Ravage, right?
The Aegis consumed right as he went down. Oh. Anyways, the Terrorblade gonna be fighting only 1 life on him, and
they could blink Ravage right now in the mid lane if you want.
Do it, do it, do it! Hit R! Okay, so he's gonna play this one safe. Doesn't want to blow anything there. It's gonna be that Ice Path catching him in place, the Dual Breath blowing him out. He goes for the Anchor Smash. It's gonna be that Kinetic Field trying to keep him safe. Everyone's zoned back as Silent just has to sit there with Metamorphosis. The range can only reach so far. And Phobos has the Ice Path up in 2 seconds. Does he want to go in for this, or does he want to play it safe?
No, everyone backing out, and again, that gives more time to Diggity. Just to finish my point earlier, Diggity right now is working with some burst damage to go through the Terrorblade, which is what Polarity lacked last game to deal with Era's Terrorblade. And yeah, right now tier 1 tower going up down. Looks like we're gonna see more mid-action here as Venge probably got picked off by a stray arrow and gets himself a free kill. It's just a Venge kill, nothing to write home about, but kill's a kill.
Yeah, I mean, of all the supports you can possibly lose, at least Venge has that Vengeance aura, so, you know, helping out a little bit, nerfing that damage. Now Era sitting here with that Chrono, ready to go in for this farming Void build, has that Maelstrom, has that Vanguard, so truly a position 1. The problem is, when's he going to be able to start really doing the damage? Can he hit R fast enough? He goes into the time dilation, he's leaping away. He doesn't want to fight this. The Shen army is going to be too big, but to get the net, he has to go, and he has to safety Chrono out and just waddle on through. He leaps back out. He doesn't have a TP, but that was pretty costly. I mean, over free-for-all 100 seconds just to make sure a Chen and a Jakiro don't kill you. Not where you want to see your position 1 void at 25 minutes in.
Yeah, you want to see him actually use that chrono and go for the 2 support kills, but looks like Synderen dropping a little bit of spells here, but do they have another pair of sentries? That's the question, because Iceberg is still invised up. Don't, and they kind of just have to back off. A little bit unfortunate here for Synderen. The other thing I want to point out is that YapzOr's already got his Aghanims. In fact, a little bit above that with 1,000 gold in the bank. So, you know, something I mentioned earlier is you can transition into a semi-core. I didn't expect him to transition this quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he's
big backstab.
having some ravage connects on a bunch. Now, it's just going to be complete annihilation onto the Chen. Always want to fly. Somehow still alive through this. Does have that magic missile at the ready. Silent. He's in. He's trying to be a man. He's trying to be big here. He does have that thunder. Can he get it off in time? He will go through onto Keizu. That's going to be some serious damage for the eye, rather than mech. Keeping himself nice and healthy to go on through Silent. He's going to be earned down as, swap back in. Always want to fly, wants to juke away, but won't be able to do so. There's going to be a glimpse of that as they will be able to bring Silent back into the fight. It's a full wipe. Triple kill for Koika. Everyone dead on Polarity. And Diggity lose nothing for that fight. That's just about as good as it could go.
No, it could have gone better because they didn't have Chrono nor Static Storm. I mean, they won that fight without 2 of their ultimates. So, you know, you're saying... Well, I kept saying that they had burst. In that team fight, we saw that burst, right? Double Star Storm, Sonic Wave, and Ravage. Like, pretty much everybody just straight up died. And now Blink Dagger on top of that to make that team fight even get better. So Diggity is, well, I want to say looking to close out this game. What it felt like in just moments ago, they were fairly far behind. But if you look at the goal graph, yeah, the goal graph really reflects this.
That is a plummet in favor of Diggity. Now, they don't push as quickly as Polarity do. They don't have that Jakiro, they don't have the Terror Blade, so Diggity have to be very careful about the fact that if they do drop a team fight, Polarity can come back in with a vengeance and just rip apart their base. So they're gonna back off for now. They get a tier 2, they're feeling good, they're feeling pumped up. Do they look for more here? Synderen has his ultimate. Era as well has that chrono. Maybe they blink in aggressively. Casey doesn't have the Ravage, but he's gonna be making some space here. Era, can he go in for the chrono here? He's looking for something, he's gonna get burned down. Oh, there's gonna be Keizo on the back line, getting very, very low. The chrono connects onto 3, he gets a nice time dilation as well. Silent, spraying up some damage here, trying to keep Era at bay. There will be a nice Static Storm connecting onto 2. They're gonna be going through, they're trying to get the swap, but always want to fly. Might end up going down here as well as the core. He's just trying to protect him now. There's gonna be an ice path. It will be blood on both sides in the end. It's I mean, not looking fantastic for either team here. I guess Polarity, they just drop a little bit more because that means Diggity can continue their siege if they'd like to.
That was a pretty aggressive play by Era. He jumped towards the enemy team, and unfortunately his team can back him up, considering the fact that there was a Terror Blade kind of splitting the fight in half, and you know, it wasn't the best fight because of that. They really needed YapzOr to be there. YapzOr also did not have access to his Blink Dagger. It was in the corridor the whole time. If he had the Blink, he could have also bypassed the Terror Blade and helped his Faceless Void. That would have actually secured them the victory in the team fight. And I do imagine the team fights will continue to get better here on the side of Diggity. If you look at what they have, they got the big burst damage from Queen of Pain and Mirana now. I have to put her up there for the damage, burst damage output. They got strong AoE lockdown between Ravage, Chronosphere, and Static Storm. And if you look at the teamfight capability of Polarity, what do they actually have? They have a macro power that's... I don't know how you're gonna land. They have things like Ice Path and things like Hand of God, but it's really just not on the same level as Diggity's teamfight.
Yeah,
and
I
also,
mean... Both teams are finding something here. I mean, Polarity, you can't just tap them out yet. I mean, they're still holding, they're still applying some push. They've got a Terror Blade, which is something you can't really underestimate.
and they also got Invoker too. There's that. Iceberg, well, it's gonna get first just blink jump bashed. No Chronosphere available, but it looks like maybe a lucky arrow hit. No. That'll be the end of that. I mean, yes, I think Polarity does have some very strong points. The late game cores, especially in the... oh, how did he actually die?
I have no idea.
Arrow missed? I guess, like, YapzOr just blinked in the trees and got it off a double Starstorm, and that was it.
Well, good on Mirana there. That's going to be 5-1-11 for this Mirana. I mean, you had your doubts about this roaming Mirana with no support, no one to set up her arrows, and you said at, what, like a minute and a half in that she was failing miserably, but it looks like she has come back. She's definitely getting her worth out of this. She's got her Veil of Discord at the ready.
Let it be known that if I have to rate the same, the early game roam, I'll give it the same score, like 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. Because I don't think he did well on the roaming stage. He did well, he did much better like, after that. And his team was doing much better, but... I mean... I think he hit like maybe 1 or 2 arrows. The one good thing that he did actually do was constantly curb the Chen army, right? Like every time he saw Chen's like, okay, boop, he's the arrow. And I think in his own right, the Mirana really contained the Chen and made sure that Chen also didn't have a 10 out of 10 early game, so. And now if you look at Yapsor, he's got Blink, Veil on top, and Aghanims. So he's pretty much done when it comes to his item set. He could obviously get more, but...
Yeah, I mean, he's got his kit to be really useful here, and to be the little cat that's able to push out these waves. And, you know, speaking of these waves, Terrorblade's sitting very comfortably at the top of the chart. I do agree that Stylet's not as far ahead as Era was last game on the Terrorblade, but still having a big impact. And Invoker, I mean, still holding his own at the top of the charts as well. He is going to be building up that Aghanim Scepter, and once he gets that, I think Polarity really need to fight, really need to look for racks to secure at least some sort of map advantage.
Yeah, I think they're working with some sort of timer, right? I think 5 minutes into this game, you were asking me about how Jakiro could scale, and my short answer to that is hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully they just push and win. And I don't think they are pushing and winning, right? Like, now we're looking at an off lane that doesn't scale terribly too well. I mean, he can be fine. He'll get a Yule's Blink. He could set up some kills and whatnot. But comparing that on the other side, you have a TIE Hunter that's blinking and ravaging your own team. With, you know, a Guardian Grease purchase. So Keizu is gonna provide so much more than the Jakiro can. And it's just the difference in the scaling of all these heroes. Chen is gonna start to fall off. Vengeful Spirit, she's a fine support in the late game, but she's no Mirana with, you know, double Starstorm, so.
Alright, so Koikba here. I mean, you can feel this Quap chomping at the bit. Has that BKB ready to go shiny and new with 10 seconds on it. It's going to be picking up the Staff of Wizardry, so going to go for the Aghanim Scepter next, getting the most out of it ultimate, because this damage is so valuable. And so far, Polarity, they haven't really responded with any BKBs, so they have to just sit there and take that magic damage.
Just saw Mirana, like, blinking up to a Chen army and just making short work of them. Man, the damage is actually disgusting when you have Veil on top of it.
Yeah.
Or Starstorms, yeah.
So, I mean, where does the next fight take place? The Roche Pit, Dire Space, Radiant Space, like, this is such a global game. No one's confined to their base just yet. Both teams walking around, both teams looking for something, but haven't quite met up in a 5v5 embrace just yet.
I think Roshan's spot is the most likely spot. Keep in mind that we also could see essentially endless amount of Moonlight Shadows being used as an initiation tool for the side of Team Diggity. So as the game drags on, I think they have more initiation power, or at least a power to find fights as well. I haven't checked on Queen of Pain item choice for a while now, but looks like pretty standard stuff here from Koikfa. Just AKB, Orchid, all looking pretty good.
Yeah, again, going into that Ags to get the most out of her ult. So, up top, we are going to have the Mirana sitting here. You mentioned that she has pretty much everything she needs for her kit, now picking up the boots to travel, 1,000 more gold on top of that. What does she go next for super luxury? Does she pick up a Diffusal? Does she go for something like a Butterfly? Like, are we not going to see that much greed?
I've seen the true carry Mirana icon for things like Dagon to give him even more single target damage. I've also seen things like Ethereal Blade being used, but I think pretty much anything that she gets at this point is good. Probably don't need to deviate back to physical damage item though. Just start keep going down this path of like just magical DPS, because they all kind of stack upon each other fairly well. And I actually think the Butcher Travel pickup is probably like the thing that's really making it difficult for Polarity to get an edge in this game, because you know, something what we saw from Diggity last game was, you know, when they were behind, they kept split pushing to get them out of there. But now with Mirana so good at dealing with a split push, and he could just TP to his team and join them in fights. So Diggity, to me, they're feeling very little pressure. In fact, Mirana go for a solo kill here. Nope, just gonna kill the crew wave. Just as good, gets a ton of farm and go back out. With the Ghost Scepter pickup, looks like he is gonna go for that Ethereal Blade. Ethereal Blade, Veil, 4 Starstorms should be an easy kill against anybody that's not Terrorblade.
So how do they deal with the Terrorblade? Do you have to rotate like 4 heroes on him, or is Silent not enough of a problem to even warrant that many resources?
I mean, if Silent gets caught out, he gets caught out, and they just go on him. But he's getting to a point where I don't think even he's that threatening. Again, a big crucial difference between this game and last game is that Diggity is also packing more AoE. Last game, again, Lifestealer wasn't, killing illusions, and illusions began to stack up in team fights. If you look at the Diggity's lineup, well, Starstorm twice, the Quap ult, even the lightning coming out from the Faceless Void, like these are very kind of big tools to kind of shut down the illusions of Terrorblade. So I think the Terrorblade looked really hot in the draft, and it was like, oh, yay, more Terrorblade games. But in practice, against this particular lineup from Team Diggity, it's no bueno.
Well, it's going to be a rotation through, looking for some sort of smoke here. Yapsor leading the charge. They do have Kesa with the Ravage. They've got quite well with the ult. Now Aghanim's completed, so, I mean, Quap just looking to rip everyone apart. Now they may end up finding DK Phobos hiding here in the tree line, but no, they're just going to back off instead, clearing out their lane, clearing out the split push. I mean, are we in for another, like, 60-minute game, or is this going to end as soon as the Roche is up and they look for their fight?
Probably it's going to drag on a little bit longer. Like you pointed out, Team Diggity doesn't actually have the best high ground push, so they do have the full map control essentially. They are able to keep up in terms of farm, but they need a certain kit of items to actually go on the high ground and win the fight in the high ground. Or maybe they could just pick off somebody and do it that way. Queen of Pain could also build physical damage to go for the high ground. We do see Queen of Pain in the past going for things like Assault Cuirass, give him that right click and the armor to tank the high ground. But for now, he's happy getting this particular item set to really deal with Terrorblade illusions and just adding more burst damage to his output.
Alright, so everyone's sitting back playing super safe. Roshan, hopefully gonna be a pretty quick spawn here as, I don't think either team wants to wait too much longer. I mean, everyone's getting their items, everyone's enjoying that, but both teams kind of scared of the late game potential of the other.
Yeah. I mean, I think both teams know that Team Diggity is ahead by a pretty large margin, but both teams also know that heroes like Terrorblade and Invoker could single-handedly turn a game. Imagine there's a fight happening right now in front of the Dire base, and like Polarity wins that fight, I don't know, like 4-2 or something like that. You could straight up lose 2 Raxus because it's Terrorblade. So that's something that Team Diggity has to respect. And they are respecting it. They're definitely not looking to fight until they're very comfortable. And that might be Kezu's Refresh Orb, which is still pretty far down the line. He's working on Shiva Scar right now. We'll pick up the Mystic Staff. But once we reach the double Ravage territory, then I think the game becomes pretty out of reach for Polarity. Because at that point, like, not even BKB is going to protect you.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like Diggity, they're just trying to sit here and they don't really want to pull off the band-aid and go in for this big fight because they're scared of losing their lead, but the more time they wait, the more time Terrorblade has to pick up his items to farm up the split push to clear the lanes. So what are Diggity really waiting for? Is it going to be that refresher on the Tide, or are they still not going to go after that?
Well, is Terrorblade farming more? I mean, Terrorblade by himself, yes, he's keeping up, but I don't think the rest of Polarity is. The gold graph is a very odd shape right now, but I imagine if we watch this gold graph develop, it's gonna dip down as the game progresses on. Because if you look at Diggity, they're farming with essentially 4 heroes. Kezu's farming, Mirana's farming, and of course the 2 cores of Diggity's farming. But like, who's actually farming for Polarity? It's just the Invoker and the Terrorblade, right? Like, I think as the game goes on, we'll see the farm differential on the supports and whatnot.
I mean, it looks like Diggity, they're all doing really well in terms of net worth. Spare the Disruptor, who's, I mean, sitting there, Cinder, and having a tough time getting those items nowhere near an Aghanim Scepter, if that's what the Disruptor wants to go for. Now, do you think he's going to try to save up for the Ags, or go for little stepping stones here, like a Glimmer Cape or whatnot?
He's going to buy wards.
So he's just the ward bitch
I don't
from
think
now on.
Ron is buying wards now. Yeah.
Alright, fair enough there, and, he's gonna kind of savor being at the bottom. There's not a whole lot of items Disruptor needs to complete his kit. Obviously, an Ags is great. You love to have it, but he's still really useful without it. He's got that max glimpse. He's keeping up in terms of levels. He's got that 14. Once he hits 16, that Storm is going to be a huge turning point.
Yeah, I mean, I think his. I'm not sure how much his Storm will actually do now, because the only person he really cares about locking down this game is Terrorblade, and Terrorblade's got the BKB. If he does have the Axe, the BKB will be rendered useless, but like you pointed out, he's probably never making 2 Axe. So I think Disruptor's essentially done his job for the first, 20 minutes, 25 minutes of gameplay. Now he's just making sure that he could provide his team whatever the team needs, which, Vision's nice. Maybe like you said, if he makes up to a Glimmer Cape, that'll be good for the team, but I think he's looking to be in good position in fights where he doesn't get picked off, glimpse a straggler or two, and looking to zone people out with his ultimate and whatnot. But
Alright, next for Sean is going to be up. This is going to be Aegis and Cheese and Diggity. They've got it firmly in their grasp, and looks like the Radiant, they're not even close enough to contest. Even if they were, they just don't have the tools, as there's so much AoE team fight from no Diggity. They're going to grab themselves up in Aegis. Now is this their time to push, or do they sit back and continue to farm and continue to drag this out?
I think this would be a time. You look for a pickoff and you just go. Are you running out of patience?
No, I totally love these 90-minute farm fests, man. They're what I live for.
I mean, you sound sarcastic, but I'm taking for face value. I do love these farm games. As I'm sad that this one will not go to like 120 minutes. Yeah,
me too, man. There is going to be that Ethereal Blade showing off up top. Arrow going to be off the mark, and looks like there is going to be that Invis coming out. Do they have any sort of vision here? They're trying to get something here, but Iceberg pops up the Forge Spirits and just zip-zaps away. Yapsor not able to catch up. The Ethereal Blade going to be off cooldown in 10 seconds, but everyone just kind of books it on out of there.
You see why he's a 2 out of 10 roamer? He missed the arrow point blank. That's all I gotta say.
You are savage, sir.
He's my friend, I could say that.
Sure. And now over here we've got Terrorblade, gonna be going through, looking for some sort of, I guess, creep cut, just rotating around. There is gonna be the Queen of Pain going on, and can she solo a Terrorblade? No. She might find out. He's gonna try.
Gonna run. Like, never mind that. Actually, the Silent doesn't have a teleport.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's kind of booking it though.
He's just gonna sit there, and while Cinderin's sitting here, he's got the cheese, he's got the TP, he is just begging that no one notices him, sitting in the corner of the classroom, hoping the teacher doesn't call on him. He goes up top, is gonna be just walking around, looking for something, man. Disruptor, he has to stick with his team at all times, but at the same time, his team's going in for these rotations that he can't live through.
Yeah, I mean, his team is looking to just split the map and push. Arrow! Do this one a little bit closer, and the shotgun coming in. We're gonna see a ultimate being used, but, get back off. If he had that arrow, that was definitely a kill. No, Silence did get caught by Kronos here. And, well, that's gonna be a kill. Time to force out that buyback. And then go back to farming.
Yeah, man, I love that farming here, but the important thing is now Queen of Pain is godlike. 9, 2, and 6. 9 kills in a row there, so Koikfa, after what looked like a tricky laning phase early on, has just definitely come back from this. Now has the refresher at the ready, so it's going to be a short cooldown on the ult, all the spells ready to go, and it's going to help the mana pool, just a little bit the stats from the refresher, not too bad. So we'll see if this is going to translate to an objective, because Terrorblade's down 45 seconds. I don't think they know he doesn't have buyback.
Yeah, they're not actually forcing it out. I think they're pretty convinced that he does have buyback, right? They're like, he's got buyback. They're not comfortable taking a fight on the high ground. That's what happened if we get swapped in and get punished. But, Caster Vision, man. They needed it.
Yeah, man, I think that it's not going to set them back too bad. I mean, Kaiser goes down, didn't opt to spend the rabbit before he died, so he still got that when he respawns in 65 seconds. And, the pace of this game, not too fast. We are 45 minutes in, only 20 kills total on the board, 21. And, I mean, Diggity, they are still in a assuming position, but they're only a 10,000 net worth lead, which at this point isn't that much. It feels like they should be getting more.
Yeah, they should be getting more, but if you look at the go graph, there's only one direction that it's going. Down, like towards the side of Diggity. So it's a slow grind, and you can make the argument that Diggity could have won this game by now, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that their lead is slowly being accrued. They're getting the Aegis, they're getting the Roshan, they're farming essentially their half of the map and half of the Polarity half of the map. So they're pretty happy taking it slow. They got the ultimate trump in the late game, in my opinion, which is the double Ravagers from the TIE Hunter. With a Terrorblade BKB that's winding down, 2 Ravagers is more than enough to kill him. And then you're also looking at a ragtag support team that don't scale Terrorblade too well. I mean, Chen's got X, that's decent. Jakiro's got a couple items, that's decent. But unless we see something big, like Hexus starting to come out from Polarity, you're not going to be able to scale and keep up with Diggity. We do see Dagon being upgraded by Yapzor, so he's got all the burst. I think at a certain point in the game, Yapzor could solo the Terrorblade. Oh yeah, Bloodthorn's coming out.
Quap's gonna enjoy that, getting at least a little bit more right-click to her name, because it seems like damage is the big problem from Diggity. They've got so much AoE teamfight. I mean, if Polarity for any reason just walk into all 5 of them at once, everyone's dead, of course, but they need Diggity to be able to go in and get those multiple picks, not just a single target gank.
Yeah, Polarity looking for a smoke gank. They don't like how the pace of this game is going. It's slow, but they're just getting out farmed, so they understand they need to change things up, toss, you know, get a random fight here and there. Oh, the other big thing to talk about is Chen with this Aghanims does have the Granite Golem, which is actually a pretty big deal. Adding a percentage amount of HP to against this kind of AoE based lineup from Diggity it goes a long way in terms of keeping them healthy and survivable, but not sure whether that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's healthy, survivable. They've got the Black Dragons for pushing as well. They're going to be sitting there wailing on the creeps. There is going to be the arrow coming back on through. Not going to take out those Ancients. And Chen calls back his creeps. The siege is stopped and back to farming. So, Diggity, we talked about their go point. They wait till the age expires. They don't get anything out of it. They've now got the Tidehunter working on the refresher. They've got the Queen of Pain with her refresher completed and the Bloodthorn. What on earth are they waiting for?
Diggity?
Yeah.
The next Roche?
But they just had a Roche and they didn't get anything off of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the other side didn't make mistakes, right? You just wait for mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
this is why Dota's a flawed game. There's nothing that like, you know how like let's say when a sports game, like when you play soccer, right? Like the game will end at a certain point.
I don't play sports, man.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, absolutely. I think Dota's, it's not timed. It's all about getting
like
that
for
ancient
StarCraft
down.
2, right? Like you mine out the map and something has to happen. In Dota, creeps will keep on generating, man. They don't ever stop.
Oh, always on a fly. Might be in some trouble here. He gets plinked down before the TP goes on through. So Yapzor finding something here. And that's small pickups that are going to help Diggity maybe feel a little bit more confident. Because again, they are doubling up the kill score. They've got these big items. They've got these big ultimates. But it feels like they're just so timid about going in because they don't want to give away their lead.
I think they're doing the absolute right thing. Give them a slow burn, man.
Yeah, I'm just so used to that CIS Dota where you just light the map on fire and watch it burn.
Of course, if somehow Polarity makes a comeback, everybody would be like, "Oh, Diggity throwers."
Yeah.
I don't think so, though. I think this is pretty much an insurmountable lead. Again, unless some big mistakes happen, like, you know, Diggity stands on macro fire for like 10 seconds or something.
I mean, Polarity, they're not just going to go in and make mistakes left and right, so Diggity has to be able to capitalize on those tiny little nuances in the fights, like an ult going out slightly too soon or someone being a step or two out of position. Now, can Diggity get that done? They're going to be going through, they're looking for the pressure here onto this tier 2, trying to get these Chen creeps. Chen drags them all back, but the final exterior tower is out, so it's high ground or bust now for both teams.
No, they're going to go back and farm.
Okay, yeah, that works.
The other thing that we gotta keep in mind is that it's very dangerous for Iceberg and Silent to go on farm, right? Like what Iceberg's doing right now, he could just get found and killed. Whereas conversely, it's not very dangerous at all for Diggity to go out and just, you know, hit creeps and be on their merry way. So eventually, Silent's gonna get caught. Eventually, Iceberg's gonna get caught, and that's where you push. And until then, you know, everybody hitting some farm. We might actually see Aghanims on Disruptor. This game is going slow enough.
Once again, Venge just plunked off by Yapzor. He's really enjoying that Ethereal Blade, but you kill off the Venge 10 times in a row. Does it really mean you have that much more push power? Not really. I mean, it's not feeding...
It definitely means Venge won't have an item.
That's true.
I mean, if this game goes late enough, you know, technically everybody should be getting some items. We know that Venge is not, because she's dying. I do believe there's a cheese on the stash somewhere, because Cinderen's been holding on a cheese for a long time. It's in the base right now. extra cheeses, you can sell those to the shop for 500 gold. So Syndrin could now have 1,000 gold, sell it to the bank, and could buy himself half an Aghanims or a Midas if he wants to go ultra late.
Yeah, a 50-minute Midas on Disruptor may not be the play, but, you know, what do I know here? We are 50 minutes in, and both teams are very, very scared to go through. There is going to be that leap era. Not going to make it to the cliff. He's going to have to path himself around now, looking for something here.
Oh,
He doesn't blink. He goes for the Chrono Iceberg. This could be huge here. They lay in the damage. The Hand of God not going to be enough. There is going to be the cheapest card to finish him off, and now Void picks himself off the kill, and that's going to be Invoker dead for 85 seconds. Does have buyback, but this is going to be the start of Diggity gaining their momentum, and I think just going for the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, like I was pointed out earlier, for Silent and Iceberg go off the map, it's a constant danger. And, well, he definitely got punished for it. Diggity this time will definitely force out the buyback. They're fairly comfortable in this fight. Probably as soon as Invoker buys back, Diggity will just back off, wait for the Chrono, and then go again.
Now there is going to be a stun onto Quake, but they're trying to burn him down. Quake does have that blink. He's actually standing in that fire for a decently long time. Will have to heal up eventually. I mean, they do have... What do they have in terms of heal? They've got Tide Hunter.
Reeves. They got 2 cheese.
Yeah, I mean, they could give him one of their 2 cheeses. I guess they can afford that.
It's like, nah, you got Aegis. Oh. Yabzor's gonna blink in, double Starstorm. Gonna clear most of the crude wave, deal with illusions. Kaz is just on the high ground. They're chipping away at this tier 2 or tier 3. Looks like we're gonna hold on to that buyback. Macropyre pretty big at slowing down this push. You know, Aghanims Macropyre is actually pretty legit for coming to defend as well. Because what does it last? It lasts like something ridiculous, like 22 seconds or something. Or no, it lasts Scepter duration 30 seconds. You could literally use it every single wave.
And that would be pretty fantastic. There is going to be something going on here. Syndrin could be in some trouble. Again, it's only a Disruptor, but any kill is a nice kill here for Polarity. They're sending in the Terrorblade Illusions. There is going to be that cheese eaten up by the Disruptor. He's going to eat up another one, or at least another cheese consumed somewhere on the map. I heard the munchy sounds. And, well, the rest of No Diggity, they're feeling alright. They're feeling like they could fight here. They do have the Ravage, they do have the Chrono, and the Quap ult. What's forcing them back at this point?
They only do 8-1 cheese. Kazu's holding the other one for now.
Oh.
As a souvenir. They may be waiting for fermentation process, given the rate that this game is going.
You gotta age that perfectly, and you know, it's 51 minutes in the game. I'm thinking 65. I'm thinking that's where we're at. 65. Let's do an over-under.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be under, I think.
Oh man. You know, if we wait till like 71, 72, that's when the map starts getting all crazy. I'm excited for that. We can see like pillars of fire spraying out. Now mid lane, there is going to be a slow siege coming out onto the tier 3. It's Quakefa going through. We'll dodge out the ice path. This tower slowly but surely burning down. Jen's creeps can only keep it healthy for so long.
Yep, that's going to be the last hit on Quakefa. And go back and regen a little bit and wait for the next one.
Alright. You know, you gotta just sit back and play patient. All you gotta do is hope for the map to start exploding soon. But in all fairness, I think Diggity, they keep securing this lead more and more in their favor in terms of net worth. It's slow going. They're definitely not gonna play crazy. They're not gonna go in for these YOLO fights. But if Diggity keep doing this, Polarity slowly will starve. Terrorblade thrives on being able to go in and push out these lanes. And the fact that he's been confined to his base for so long doesn't help.
Uera got Yuled up and essentially used everything. BKB, Blink. And BKB's down for a bit. Not sure how that affects the grand scheme of thing. There's finally that refresher orb. I think that will be the goal time with the double ravages. You know, the Chiero's been holding onto this Ultimorph for the longest time.
What are you talking about?
Jakiro's got the Ultimorph for the longest time. Has enough go for the Hex if he wants to buy it, but he's going for the I'm afraid I need a safer buyback kind of play.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely needs to save for buyback. If nothing else, buying back going into a Macropyre Ice Path could be the stall they need to hold back Diggity. We saw how impactful that Macropyre was in the mid lane. It kept this tier 3 tower alive for far longer than I expected.
Well, here's the thing, though. Let's say you drop the Macropyre and then you die. Like, then you wouldn't buy back?
I mean, just putting bodies into the fight might be all it takes to drive back Diggity, because they're playing safe. They're not giving up anything they don't need to be.
I don't know if buying back a Jakiro actually matters. I think for him specifically, you kind of just go for the YOLO, buy the item, Because I feel like if you're gonna win the fight, your best chance is the initial, 15 seconds of the fight, where nobody has really died on your team yet, and where nobody needed to buy back yet. That's where you could hex and, drop your ice path macro pyre combo on whoever you need to. Or you just kind of circumvene the whole situation and say, you know what, we're not gonna beat you the fight, we're gonna just defend. And then just forget about the hex and go Aghanims. And just, macro pyre every 30 seconds. And doesn't it last doesn't it have, it goes across 2 screens or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, it is a very, very long spell now. They're quick fun. We've reached the point in the game where Quap, she's got the refreshers, she's got the Ag, she's using the Sonic Wave just to clear out waves, and there's no reason for her not to. Meanwhile, Yapsor cleaning out top, and, well, we're sitting back and farming. The Roshan will be up at some point soon, still about 2 minutes till we figure out how long the respawn is going to be.
I wonder whether Refresh Orb refreshes the 8-second cooldown of Starstorm that you get from Mags. Because if it does, you could technically get an 8 Starstorm combo.
I feel like it's its own proc and not tied to the cooldowns, but I don't know. Honestly, that is a mechanic I have not seen before. I've never seen a Refresher Mirana at this point.
I think Octarine actually does lower the 8-second cooldown, so...
Alright, maybe
if
it does.
If we go by that logic, then yeah, it should. And you're on some Street Fighter level combo. Oh, looks like we are gonna get to pick the Blink Hex starting things up, and Yapsor might give away his Beyond Godlike streak. Or sorry, just Wicked Stick, not Beyond Godlike yet.
It's still almost 1,400 gold straight to the Jakiro, and that's gonna be, he already picks up his Hex and now has 4k gold on top of the Sheep Stick. They're looking for Always Wanna Fly. Once again, the Venge just decimated, so it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade, but losing the Mirana for a Venge, although the Mirana started out as a support, she was worth way more than the Vengeful Spirit.
Are we gonna see Aghanims? Looks like not. Mid-throw Hammer being picked up here in Jakiro. Is that gonna be a BKB? Seems so. They need to pick up items that could deal with the Ravages. As unexciting as that is, and an Aghanim, but it's kind of the item that he needs to buy. Looks like Koifa is going to be working on that AC, no surprise there. Gonna give him a transitioning more on the physical damage side of things. I think it's time for the Void 5 wards. And allow poor Cinderin to finish his axe. He's actually not too far off.
Era's actually sitting top of the net worth chart. For all the crap he's given this Void about not having the biggest impact in the world, he's doing decently well. He's got a Butterfly, he's got the MKB, he's hard to hit, he's hard to get a hold of. The problem is when he goes into these team fights, it doesn't feel like he's the big player, it doesn't feel like he's the big boss. Now Iceberg may end up going 1v1, Era goes in, pops the Mjolnir, looking for the Chrono here, will get it. Does he have the raw damage? He's bashing him up, he's ripping apart the hand of God. That is a lot of damage, killing spree now. They're going for more. The Yules onto the Jakiro, they're holding him in place. It's going to be the Tidehunter joining the party with the Shiva's Guard, and that's going to be Faceless Void getting a double kill. Now 2 picks down, they both have buyback, but these small increments once again forcing Diggity back into the lead, making them feel more confident to go for this. Keisu going to be having his friend TP right by his side. They're looking for more. Oh, Mirana just splats down the Shen. There's a gem on the deck, and this could be the beginning of the end.
Well, the mid lane is fairly pushed in against Diggity, so you kind of have to deal with it. Cinderin pings out the top lane and says, you know what, let's just go top. Top lane does have a tier 3. Alright, Jakiro, you waited for this moment in all your time.
He's coming back. He is buying back, man. He's got the Macro Fire, which will end up holding out this tower for a little bit longer. Even Koikfa, who's hitting from 1,000 miles away, doesn't want to stand in a pit of fire.
And they push the top in, now they will go in mid and try to... Ooh, Venge! Where did he go? He's dead. Rabbit number 1 will come out right now, and Rabbit number 2 will fall up as well. Terrorblade's gonna be dead as well, he buys back. Jakiro dies on the backside, he does not have buyback anymore, and... Well...
Oh, I think that could be it. Terrorblade down for over 100 seconds, no buyback on him. Jakiro, he's tapped out as well as if there's a dieback, and the GG, well played, will be called. No Diggity after 2 60-minute games. Take a 2-0 series.
Yeah. I think Diggity has won this game like 30 minutes in, but they just went for the ultra safe play, which I personally have nothing against. I think it's, it's a W is a W, man, no matter how you get it.
Alright, so again, this has been the English Moon Duck coverage of the Global Grandmaster Qualifiers. No Diggity, racking up some nice points.